Hi, this is Mark Purdue, and you're watching video tutorial 2.0, determining heart rate on an EKG. So for the most part, determining heart rate, we are going to use the counting method as just a verification measure so that we can verify the heart rate that's displayed on a monitor. So if you look on the lower left-hand side here, we can see that we're going to start with a QRS complex that falls on one of the lateral hatch marks of the intermediate boxes. Once we find a QRS complex that falls on one of those hatch marks, we begin counting heart rate intervals: 300, 150, 175, 60, 50, 43. Now, if you look at the right side, we do have a QRS complex that has shown up right where we want it on one of those QRS intervals. And then we have started counting 300, 150, 175. Now, if the second QRS complex had fallen solidly on 100, then we would estimate our heart rate to be 100. If, however, it fell on 75, then we would say 75. No such luck. It falls right in the middle, and so we have to say half of 25, the distance between 100 and 75, is going to be something like 12.5. Let's round to 13, and so 13 beats faster than 75 is going to be a heart rate of 88. Now here, we're going to try to find a QRS complex that falls right where we want on the lateral hatch mark of one of the intermediate boxes. We do indeed find one, and here we're going to start counting: 300, 150, 175. Now what we can see here, if we enlarge this, is that it's really one small box shy of or faster than 75. Again, the distance between 100 and 75 is 25. Each small box is 5. So here we would add one small box or 5 points to the heart rate and get a heart rate of 80. Here we have a slightly faster heart rate. Let's see if we can find a QRS complex, say right here. Here we can see we have a QRS complex that falls right on that lateral hatch mark of the intermediate box. We begin counting: 300, 150, 100. Now here we're one small box shy of 100, and the interval is between 150 and 100, so that each small box, there being 5 of them, is worth 10. And so here our heart rate is going to be something like 110. Here we have another QRS complex that falls on the intermediate hatch mark. Here we're going to start counting, and then you can see that we have a beat that falls almost on 75 but is slightly shy of it. If one wished to split hairs, one could say that's half of one small box, representing something like 2.5 seconds, and instead of saying something absurd like 77.5 seconds, we could just say 78 is our estimated heart rate. If you look here, you can see these hatch marks here, here, and here. And in between the two of these hatch marks are 3 seconds. So in between 3 of them is 6 seconds. Consequently, you can count the number of cardiac cycles in that 6-second interval and multiply it times 10. Now, you don't need to be a cardiologist to tell that this heart rate is way too low. Here we would estimate this heart rate to be somewhere along the lines of 30. Next up in the EKG video tutorials is going to be series 3.0, the assessment of rhythm.